Welcome. You are listening to Aftersight. This recording is intended solely for individuals who are blind or have low vision.
Thank you for joining us for audiobook news read by Sarah, featuring Audiophile magazine. Today we're going to start off with some children and family listening titles. I Like Your Shoes, Frankie Jackson, Book 3 by R. Stim, read by Janet Metzger. Janet Metzger exuberantly introduces life at Dickory Dock Harbour, its mostly likeable residents and their quirky lifestyles. Listeners meet young New Jersey visitor Frankie, who is spending the summer there. Since she's on probation, she must send her judge a weekly essay on what she's learned. It's a pleasure to hear her reflections. Frankie befriends realistically portrayed Flip, who is on the spectrum and is technologically savvy. Adding to the excitement, Frankie joins a pitching competition on reality TV. Metzger vibrantly renders the story's wordplay, as well as Frankie's sincere quotations from a book about body language. The most fun is Bossy Margie, a fading TV star who's comical every time she speaks. The delightful story and chatty characters guarantee satisfaction for listeners of all ages. It's available from Spoken Realms, 7.5 hours long unabridged, recommended for ages 8 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 979-821-2894104 for $16.95, also available as CD or MP3. Library edition digital download, ISBN 979-821-2894098 for $49.95, also available as CD. Farther Than the Moon by Lindsay Lackey, read by Joshua Whitchard. Joshua Whitchard is phenomenal at narrating this endearing novel, which captures a poignant time in a teenager's life. 13-year-old Houston lives with his single mom and younger brother, Robbie, who has cystic fibrosis. The boys share a dream of traveling to the moon one day, just like their estranged grandpa. Hard work pays off, and Houston is accepted to the Junior Astronaut Recruitment Program. Whitchard changes tempo and adds depth to Houston's voice as he grapples with leaving Robbie and his mom. At the program, Whitchard portrays each of her recruits perfectly as they work through their various issues. Whitchard moves seamlessly between the voices of the characters with heart. It's available from Macmillan Audio, 7.5 hours long unabridged, recommended for ages 10 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-125-0909732 for $19.99. Not Quite a Ghost by Anne Ursu, read by Eva Kaminsky. In this middle-grade story, undoubtedly inspired by the early feminist story titled The Yellow Wallpaper from 1892, Eva Kaminsky depicts Violet, an easygoing preteen who's only slightly uncomfortable about moving into the strange attic bedroom of her family's new home. Change is everywhere for Violet, in her family, her new school, and her friends. Kaminsky reflects the uncertainty that creeps into Violet's voice when she witnesses her two best friends' cruelty at a sleepover. When she becomes ill, her fixation on the scary yellow wallpaper in her room is convincing. Her fear becomes palpable as her weakness and fatigue intensify, as do the listener's compassion for her and disgust with those who discount her experiences. Eventually, Violet takes on a ghost-like figure, terrifyingly rendered by Kaminsky. It's available from Harper Audio, 6.75 hours long, unabridged, recommended for ages 8 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-006-3350779 for $27.99. Goblin Market by Diane Zahler, read by Tavia Gilbert. Tavia Gilbert skillfully narrates this dark tale featuring two sisters in long-ago Poland, based on an 1862 poem by Christina Rossetti. At the market, beautiful, outgoing Minka is enchanted by Emil, a goblin disguised as a handsome boy who offers her forbidden fruit. Lizzie, Minka's sister, is smart, frank, and likely autistic. After eating the fruit, Minka falls sick. Gilbert conveys Minka's illness by infusing her kind voice with a dreamlike detachment and portrays Lizzie with a lack of emotion. As the story progresses, Lizzie becomes more assertive but maintains her innate matter-of-fact tone. Gilbert also reflects Emil's mercurial temperament, speaking in enticing tones to Minka and to Lizzie with dismissiveness, disdain, and finally, deadly menace. Haunting music during tense moments adds suspense. It's available from Live Oak Media, 5 hours long, unabridged, recommended for ages 8 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-143-014-5349 for $49.95. Also available as CD. The Unbeatable Lily Hong by Diana Ma, read by Dana Wing-Lau. Dana Wing-Lau creates a youthful voice for 12-year-old Lily, who must help her parents save their Chinese school while also competing in a local film competition. Lily has a lot to balance with her friend groups and school obligations. She also struggles with coming in second to her arch-nemesis, Max, who always seems to be one step ahead of her. Lau adds drama and passion to Lily's voice as she tries to do everything, even keeping some things from her parents in order to make her film. Listeners and realistic fiction fans will enjoy learning about the importance of family and friends in this coming-of-age story. It's available from Harper Audio, 7 hours long, unabridged, recommended for ages 8 and up. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-006-3376793 for $21.99. And now for some general fiction titles. Alice, Sadie, Celine by Sarah Blakely Cartwright, read by Chloe Sevigny. It takes an incredibly skilled narrator to make character vignettes entrancing, and performer Chloe Sevigny more than achieves this. Alice is struggling through her young career as an actress working at a dwindling local theatre. After her best friend Sadie's mother, Celine, attends the play, Celine and Alice enter into a controversial sexual relationship. Meanwhile, Sadie is trying to mend her own sexual hang-ups and strained relationships. In this bold story, Sevigny dissects each of the women's deepest secrets and exposes them all as vulnerable characters. Despite this, Sevigny also uncovers the beauty within a flawed life and the redemption of making the right choices. Her voluptuous narration is raw, honest, and best for listeners who are craving a challenging listening experience. It's available from Simon & Schuster Audio, 8.5 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-179-7161853 for $19.99. The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon, read by Jane Oppenheimer and Ariel Lawhon. Listeners will be launched back to the 18th century by this audiobook, inspired by the diary of the American midwife and healer Martha Ballard. The story weaves Ballard's journey through Lawhon's thrilling mystery of rape and murder. Jane Oppenheimer gives life to this first-person account, which includes birth, death, rape, and family, as well as the challenges of life in early America. Oppenheimer handles Martha's voice smoothly and uses tone and cadence to expertly deliver the dialogue of the other characters in the story. Complex twisting with flashbacks and diary entries, this clever novel is handled beautifully by Oppenheimer. Imagine Call the Midwife meets Maisie Dobbs and sit back and enjoy the ride. It's available from Random House Audio, 15 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-059-374-8985 for $25. Books on Tape has the library edition. Digital download, ISBN 978-059-374-8992 for $95. 14 Days, an Unauthorized Gathering, from The Authors Guild, read by Shayna Small. Shayna Small delivers a variety of accents as a group of New Yorkers gather on the rooftop of their dilapidated building during the COVID-19 pandemic, telling stories to pass the time. The audiobook features a pots and pans symphony that applauds the healthcare workers who risk their lives to treat the sick. Small shines in this reboot of another plague novel, Boccaccio's Decameron, written in the 14th century as bubonic plague raced across Europe. The Authors Guild, the nation's longest-running organization for writers, brought together 36 authors whose names grace the audiobook's jacket. They include Margaret Atwood, Dave Eggers, Celeste Ng, Scott Turow, Myra Jacob, Tommy Orange, Tess Gerritsen, R.L. Stein, Weike Wang, and Ishmael Reed. Each author was assigned a separate part of a story. It's available from Harper Audio, 14 hours long unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-035-871-3845 for $31.99. Cahokia Jazz by Francis Buford, read by Andy Ingalls. Narrator Andy Ingalls delivers all the nuances of a full cast in Buford's latest, a literary detective novel that takes place in an alternate universe. In an authoritative tone, Ingalls brings to life Cahokia, located on the banks of a Mississippi. In the novel, this ancient indigenous society lives on in the 1920s, seeming to flourish in its diversity. But when Barrow discovers a mutilated body, the community's facade of racial coexistence is exposed. Whether Native American, European, or African, each principal character has a unique voice, aiding the listener in following the complex story. Ingalls' skills shine as he smoothly delivers conversations in a hillbilly drawl, an Irish brogue, and many other voices of diverse characters. Ingalls is the perfect guide for this complex world. And, narrator Andy Ingalls says, the characters vibrate right off the page. The world is built and realized so lavishly, yet it's also fully lived in, and it runs the gamut from lyrical, intimate self-discovery to the high-octane action of a thriller. It's available from Simon & Schuster Audio, 15.5 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-179-716-7923 for $29.99. And now for some classics and poetry titles. The Law and the Lady by Wilkie Collins, read by Lucy Scott. Lucy Scott gives a thrilling performance of this propulsive detective story, which will have listeners guessing until the end. In this real Victorian melodrama, first published in 1875, the detective, surprisingly, is a woman. Within a few days of marrying, 23-year-old Valeria discovers that a Scottish court has rendered a verdict of not proven against her husband, Eustace, in his trial for poisoning his first wife. Scott illuminates Valeria's distress, as well as her profound determination to clear her husband's name. Scott keeps the tension high as Valeria questions Eustace's friends and acquaintances, reviews the trial transcript, and discovers new clues. Scott is equally skilled at male and female characterizations, emotional nuance, and vocal distinction, a lively and immersive listen. It's available from Naxos Audiobooks, 14.75 hours long unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-178-198-4697 for $37. Herland by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, read by Stefan Rudnicki. Originally published in 1915, this utopian audiobook has a timeless element that keeps it relevant today. On an adventure, 3 young men find an isolated land inhabited solely by women. What they learn and do there is the focus of the story. Stefan Rudnicki's voice is so deep that at times it sounds almost cloudy. The sonorous vocal quality emphasizes the differences between the 3 young men and the women who make them their captives. The women are cooperative, organized, and compassionate, while the men either want to diminish or to dominate the women. Rudnicki does a good job with dialogue and character differentiation. His pacing is measured and easy to follow, adding to the contemporary feel of the audiobook. It's available from Blackstone Audio, 6 hours long unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 979-821-227-7976 for $16.95. Also available as CD or MP3. Library Edition CD, ISBN 979-821-227-7914 for $67. At the Edge of the Night by Frido Lampe, translated by Simon Beattie, read by Jot Davis. With a flair for dramatic dialogue and intense, unsettling imagery, narrator Jot Davis accentuates the vivid, dreamlike qualities of this 1933 novel by the openly gay German author Frido Lampe. At a river's edge, on a single, warm summer's evening, a group of characters ranging from sailors to students to lovers and a father-son magic act interact in this early example of magic realism. Davis expertly keeps the focus on the rapport between the characters as the story gently wanders into the taboo, homoerotic relationships and interracial romance. The book was soon banned by the Nazis, most likely because it was too sublime, too dangerous, and too beautiful to ignore. An extraordinary narration of a rare, extraordinary literary find. Available from Naxos Audiobooks, 5 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition digital download, ISBN 978-178-1984833 for $17.50. Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence, read by Helen Lloyd. Helen Lloyd's masterful narration evokes the honest emotion of D.H. Lawrence's haunting prose in Sons and Lovers. The novel centers on Mrs. Morell's domineering hold on her two sons' affections and their subsequent struggles to establish strong relationships with women. Lloyd's gentle cadence moves the plot forward with grace and ease, and her attention to the characters' local dialects is equally convincing. The Morell family lives in a poor mining community in Nottinghamshire, and Lloyd immediately captures William's boyhood voice as he talks to his mother about the fair. She also clearly depicts the younger brother, Paul, as an intense young man full of turmoil. Through her compelling performance, Lloyd draws listeners into the complex minds of Lawrence's characters. It's available from Spoken Realms, 18 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download for $31.42. This is The Honey, an anthology of contemporary black poets, edited by Kwame Alexander, read by Mahogany L. Brown and Joel Damani Steingold. Anyone who wants to know what's going on in contemporary black poetry should seek out this anthology. Most of the big names, including Rita Dove and Nikki Giovanni, are here, as are a great many less famous but highly skilled poets. The quality of the poems ranges from quite good to fabulous. There's not a lemon in this bushel. Performers Mahogany L. Brown and Joel Damani Steingold are both excellent as they handle tones, accents, and emotions ranging from ultra-cool to deeply passionate. They clearly understand poetry, Brown's own is included, and how to convey it to listeners. Among other qualities, they understand the importance of line breaks. Listeners interested in American poetry, from black poets or not, should enjoy this audiobook. It's available from Hachette Audio, 4.25 hours unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-166-8635506 for $18.99. And more listening from National Poetry Month includes Homeland of My Body, New and Selected Poems by Richard Blanco, read by Richard Blanco. Available unabridged from Beacon Press. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-080-7035238 for $28. A Poetry Handbook, a prose guide to understanding and writing poetry, by Mary Oliver, read by Kimberly Farr. Available unabridged from Harper Audio. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-006 3413320 for $16.99. Rhymes Rooms, The Architecture of Poetry, by Brad Lighthouser, read by Kevin R. Free. Available unabridged from Random House Audio, Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-059-355-1363 for $20. Books on Tape has a library edition, digital download, ISBN 978-059-355-1370 for $95. Poemhood, Our Black Revival, History, Folklore, and the Black Experience, a young adult poetry anthology. Edited by Amber McBride, Erica Martin, and Taylor Bias. Read by Angel Pian and Greg Campbell. Available from Harper Audio, unabridged, recommended for ages 12 and up. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-006-322-5312 for $27.99. And let's finish off with some mystery and suspense titles. Where You End by Abbott Kaler, read by Megan Tusing and Samantha Dess. Megan Tusing and Samantha Dess provide a captivating dual performance with confidence, especially when the narration is deliberately unreliable. Catbird awakes from a coma, coming face to face with her twin sister Jude. Her memory a blank, Cat must piece together the story of their lives with Jude's guidance. Secrets come to the surface as Cat puts the pieces of their shared lives together. Tusing keeps listeners' attention from the start. At first, her voice has the quality of an ingenue. Dess, as Jude, sounds dominating, subtle, and quietly terrifying. Their voices align beautifully with a darkness that entices deeper listening, particularly when motivations aren't clear. Listeners may be lost at times as the story's puzzle expands, but the shared performance never wavers. It's available from Macmillan Audio, 11.25 hours long, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-125-033-1540 for $26.99. Best Served Cold, DCI Harry Grimm, Book 2, by David J. Gatwood, read by Aubrey Parsons. Aubrey Parsons credibly conveys both 1970 and contemporary Yorkshire, England, in this grim procedural. Listeners meet Detective Inspector Harry Grimm as he confronts a gruesome farm accident, or a clever murder. The victim was hated by everyone. Parsons artfully renders the many characters, particularly Grimm's dedicated team. The 1970 victim, a bullied autistic schoolgirl, was killed after seeing a frightening safety film. The questioning of angry and suspicious suspects with their diverse rural accents is electrifying. In a heartbreaking scene, Parsons presents the girl's father's excruciating testimony about the tragedy and its aftermath. A touching interview with author Gatwood reveals the satisfaction he found in writing about an actual government film once used to scare kids about farm hazards. This horrifying story is enhanced by Parsons' virtuoso performance. It's available from David Gatwood, 7.25 hours, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download for $19.95. First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston, read by Saskia Marleveld. Listeners will be convinced there's a full cast delivering this fast-paced thriller, yet it's just one narrator, Saskia Marleveld, who masterfully voices all the characters, male and female, southern and not. Evie Porter has many names and personas she has adopted for her work for the mysterious Mr. Smith. Evie is a criminal with a heart and a conscience. The narrative goes back and forth in time, revealing the successful and disastrous assignments that have landed her in a small town in Louisiana, where she's building a loving relationship with her next target, Ryan Summer, who has secrets of his own. The twists and turns will keep listeners glued to their earbuds all the way to the satisfying conclusion. It's available from Penguin Audio, 9.25 hours, unabridged. Trade edition, digital download, ISBN 978-059-378-9681 for $22.50. Books on Tape has the library edition, digital download, ISBN 978-059-378-9698 for $76. And that is it for me for today. Thank you for joining us for Audiobook News, read by Sarah.
Aftersight.
Hello, listeners. This is Family Medicine resident physician Dr. Cindy Lay. Do you feel that lately you've been having more difficulty concentrating or enjoying your favorite activities? Perhaps you've been low on energy or overwhelmed by guilt? These symptoms, along with changes to sleep and appetite, may suggest depression. It's important to know you're not alone. Around 19% of U.S. adults are dealing with mental health challenges, with anxiety and depression being the most common. Taking the brave step of talking to a mental health professional or your primary care doctor is key for your well-being. This can lead to discussions about therapy or medication. If one medication doesn't help, it doesn't mean that another won't. There are about 5 major types of antidepressants, and your doctor can help find what would work best for you. Depression is not your fault and could be due to a chemical imbalance in your brain. It is as serious as any other chronic illness, like diabetes or blood pressure. Depression medications do not have to be long-term, but it can help you get back up on your feet. Your mental health matters, and seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. If you would be interested in finding a therapist in your area, you may visit www.psychologytoday.com/US/therapists. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or visit 988lifeline.org. The 988 Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, as well as suicide prevention and crisis resources for you or your loved ones.
In the United States, the leading cause of death for children isn't what you might expect. It's not car accidents or even illnesses like COVID. It's guns. Safe storage of firearms can significantly increase your family's safety and prevent a tragedy from striking your home. What does safe storage entail? It means keeping your firearm unloaded, locked, and in a secure location separate from ammunition. Every year, nearly 350 children under the age of 18 unintentionally shoot themselves or someone else, primarily due to firearms not being safely stored. It's estimated that 54% of gun owners don't securely lock all their guns, which contributes to these preventable accidents. Just as we use smoke detectors to alert us of fires and car seats to protect our children during travel, including a gun lock in your home safety plan is essential. In Colorado, this is not just good practice, it's law. Statute CRS 1812-114 requires gun owners to store firearms in locking devices out of the reach of children or prohibited persons. We all share the responsibility of keeping our loved ones safe. To learn more about safe storage and other gun violence prevention tools, visit coloradoceasefire.org or call 303-380-6711. That is 303-380-6711. Contact them at info@coloradoceasefire.org. Together, let's use safe storage practices to make our homes and communities safer, turning the tide on this leading cause of death among children.